I've heard many, many Muslims, especially converts, say this. When I enter the masjid, I feel peace. Two things here. The Christian can say the same thing when they enter the church. The Jew, the Jewish person, can say the same thing when they enter the synagogue. And many other people of many other faiths can say the same thing about their communities. So again, we're not distinguishing Islam if we make that argument. But even if that's a valid argument, here's the problem, is that the peace is relative. Go back to my story of Bilal, who based his faith and his practices, on the surface at least from what we can tell, on the fact that the Muslims were organized. But when they became disorganized and he had that realization, he left. Same thing when Muslims, especially new converts or new reverts, as some people like to say, when they enter the masjid, they feel a peace. I felt that peace. But what happens when an elder or anybody comes to them and yells at them for wearing short shorts or wearing their hijab in the wrong way, showing their hair, or wearing a gold necklace like I used to do because I didn't know? What happens when they get yelled at? And they feel that harshness from some people who react emotionally, may not understand their situation. There's an amazing lecture that if you want more information about this topic, I encourage you to watch on YouTube. It's called Winning Our Children Back to Islam by a convert named Jeffrey Lang. Jeffrey Lang. You have to watch this lecture because he talks about so many converts who are so excited with their newfound faith, but they come to the masjid and they find the Muslims being the most rude, being the most harsh with their manners, and it turns them away from the masjid. And ultimately, a lot of them turn away from Islam because they're not part of the community, or they think that Muslims are getting this behavior from the religion itself, and they're confused, and they go back to their former ways of lives. So the peace is relative, so we can't make that argument. Another story, very briefly, I had a friend, a good Muslim brother, who converted not too long after me. And he was so excited to learn about Islam, so excited to learn about the Arabic language. He went overseas. Before he left to learn, he was saying to me, I can't wait to go to the Muslim countries where I can learn about Islam, where I can be with the Muslims, surrounded by Muslims. When he came back, he told me nothing but one story after another of how the Muslims that he ran into were racists. He was an African American, and they just treated him so horribly because they had racism in their heart. Now, I'm not saying that all Muslims are like this. I'm not saying the majority of Muslims are like this. But there are some Muslims like this who have character that is not exactly the right character, who have diseases in their heart. But we can't base our faith and our practice upon that. We can't base it upon the peace that we feel from the Muslims. Because the Muslims are human beings. They will disappoint us. And when they disappoint you, if you're basing your faith and your practice on them, you're going to lose your faith and practice.